welcome back to my podcast, Convos with Desiree. This is your host, Desiree speaking, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Faith. She is a wellness girly. She is an inspiring fashion content creator. She is the brand manager for the Lip Bar, and she also does freelance marketing on the side. And today we're going to talk about her journey, how she got to where she is, how her faith has been impacted throughout her entire life up to this moment in time, what she has had to done to pivot, and everything in between. So, with that being said, welcome to the podcast, Faith. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so my first question is, I see a lot of fashion content on your social media, and you used to be a blogger girly.
Yeah.
What what has made you transition from blogger to a fashion content creator?
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that they're both kind of one and the same. I definitely think that when I was at Kent State, I'm a Kent State alum, but when I was at Kent State, I was a journalism major and I loved journalism classes in high school as well. So I think that like starting a blog was just really out of my love for fashion. But I definitely am someone, I definitely like look at the trends and I look at what is kind of current. And I think in my role as at the Lip Bar, I just kind of learned a lot of like multimedia tactics and like strategies. And I think that I was really just seeing people kind of shifting away from, reading traditional blogs and print. And they were kind of um, going more towards like video and stuff like that. So I really just decided to like challenge myself really like around like 2021. I really
Mhm.
decided to like challenge myself in like video content creation. So that kind of took up a lot of my time. So it just kind of like shifted, I think, just like noticing how the world just kind of shifted more towards video. I kind of did the same, but I definitely think there could be room in the future. I know like mediums like Substack and things like that are getting really popular. And I do think that that is a really medium that I can really play in since I did kind of have that blogger background. So I definitely think there's like always room where I could go back. But I definitely think that probably like 2021, I just really wanted to kind of like explore video creation and really just like practice like my editing muscle. So I think I kind of like shifted from doing traditional blog stuff to doing more stuff on like Instagram. And also, I definitely think that like a lot more opportunities were on Instagram. I think that back in the day, a lot of brands would kind of reach out to you and want you to work on their blog. Like one of my first big partnerships with my blog was with Xfinity.
Mm.
And I worked with like the cable company and I also worked with like a couple other brands through my blog, but I definitely noticed that brands were also kind of shifting and focusing more on Instagram and TikTok like that. So I think that I just kind of like shifted. I hate to just leave, my blog readers in the dark. So maybe there definitely will be a path in the future for like something like Substack or something where I could kind of flex my writing muscle again.
Okay. That's interesting. The world does seem to like video much more than print these days. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, we get it, but it still sucks for people that actually like to read,
Yeah.
especially about fashion and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it could always come back. I know I've like gotten into reading like over the past like couple of years and I kind of feel like I was in like a reading slump for a while. So I definitely think I feel like people shift back, but people also shift forward. So we could always go back to it. And I also think it's good to recognize the trends, especially as like a social media manager. It's really important sometimes to not be stuck doing the same thing. It's important to like shift with the culture.
I totally agree. You gotta definitely shift with the times, or else you'll be
Yeah.
kinda like the dust.
Yeah.
And, like, the pendulum always swings back and forth. That's why we all seen fashion
Yeah,
trend.
exactly. They cycle. So, one day people are into video, another day people really might crave reading again. So everything just cycles back.
I totally agree. Okay, so when it comes to your content in general, Why fashion specifically? Or is that just easy, or do you just love fashion, or why
I
fashion?
love fashion. Fashion is honestly one of my first loves. I think that my grandmother, she really played a part. I feel like my grandmother, she was just, so fabulous. And she was like into fashion. A lot of my family, they're into fashion as well. I had like a cousin that she went to Ursuline, and it's like in the Cleveland area.
Okay.
Ursuline College is like a small college, and she went for fashion. So I definitely think that fashion was just always just kind of like within my family. And I always like loved it. I used to like sketch little things like when I was younger. And that's what I actually went to Kent State for. That's really what brought me to Kent State, like my love for fashion. And my grandma saw my love of fashion in me very young. And she actually used to volunteer at the Kent State Fashion Museum. So that's kind of like how she introduced me. I actually wanted to go to Kent State since I was like 13 years old. And that was like the only school
Really?
that was like my dream school. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, that was like my dream school. And I she brought me to the museum when I was like 13. I spent like a week in the summer with her, like while I was on summer break. And she brought me there, and I don't know, I love the campus. I really liked all the people that I met at the fashion museum, and I don't know, it was just like I just ever since that day, like I just knew that I wanted to be like a Kent State like fashion student. I also wanted to do some type of journalism. So I always wanted to do a double major, but when I got to Kent State, they suggested that I only major in one and then do like a minor. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up majoring in journalism, and I minored in fashion media and marketing. And I think that it was just the absolute perfect set of skills. So yeah, but I love Kent State. I knew I wanted to go to Kent State from age 13.
Okay, okay, okay. Guys, I forgot to say this. We both went to Kent State, but I didn't hear about Kent State until like my last year of high school because I'm in Dayton, so I was thinking like UD or Rice State. And just so
Mm.
happened Kent State offered the most money, and they offered the business students to study abroad with a scholarship. That really reeled me in. I didn't know it was like a dream school for people. Good for you, right? I it's like that for people. Okay.
Yeah, it's really not. I think just because, like, my grandma also went to Kent State, a lot of my family members went to Kent State, and I think that because, like, my grandma had such a connection to it and she used to volunteer at the museum, I think that it really just, like, exposed me to it from an early age, and I don't know, I felt like when I thought of college, like, I thought of, like, Kent State. And I know that's not everybody's. I think it was just because it was just so ingrained in like my family, and Kent State was just really true to my family. I think that I really just like connected with that from a really like early.
Okay, and so I'm assuming you're from the Kent area, Akron, Cleveland.
No, I'm from Detroit. Yeah.
You're from I thought you lived there. You're from
No.
Detroit.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, born and raised, East Side.
Yes, okay.
My mom my mom is actually my parents are not Detroit natives. My dad is from Arkansas, and then my mom is from Cleveland, Ohio. She went to Cleveland State, and all my mom's family is from Cleveland as well. So, although it wasn't really Kent State is not a popular school at all from where I'm from. Most people go to Michigan State or U of A or, wherever. I was just always exposed to Kent State. I think just because I have so much family in Cleveland.
Okay, I thought it was just like a down the road type thing for you too. You
No.
traveled across the way
No,
for Kent.
yeah. It was
Okay,
out
I
of state
didn't know
tuition.
they was known for their fashion program. I know you went there originally for fashion, so
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I went and their fashion program was so, like, renowned, and my parents are not about to send me to New York to study fashion, so I think they were also comfortable with me, being close to my family members and going to Kent State and studying fashion. Yeah, it all worked out.
Okay, I can see that. Let's switch gears here a little bit. So, college in general. So, you just told me you were hours away from home. I was personally like 3.5 hours away. You're states away. Like a plane
Yeah.
ride.
It was like 3 and a
Yeah.
half. It was like 3.5 hours as well
To
from
drive?
Detroit. Yeah, it's like a 3-hour drive from Detroit. Yeah, it's not too far.
Okay, so same distance. Okay, so I know for me personally, I had a hard time adjusting being far away from home for the first time, and my faith was being tested in many ways. So, was that the same way for you? Was your faith tested in many ways? Did you have a hard time adjusting when you first got there? Or tell me what you were thinking.
Like, I didn't really have a hard time adjusting. I was excited to go away. I think that my parents were just always like really strict. So I think that going away to college just really allowed me to kind of like step into like my independence. And I also think like in high school, like I had a couple like really good friends, but I think that in general, like I was really excited to just like meet new people, meet people that I really connected with, meet people that really like had similar interests to me. I think that when I was like in high school, no one was really into fashion. No one was really into art or photography or videography or, blogging. Like no one was into those things. So I think that I really craved going somewhere where a lot of people had similar interests to me. I really craved just being around people that I felt like I could connect with. There were definitely some tough moments. I'm sure my faith was like tested. Um, but I think that I really just like kept myself like very grounded and I just focused on um like the bigger picture. I always knew that I've always been very like purpose driven. And I think that I always knew that like Kent State was a part of my path and that it was a part of my purpose. And I don't really do anything that I feel like isn't going to impact my future or improve my future. So I don't know. I felt really good. I felt like I had a really good gut feeling about Kent State, and I knew that it was going to be a part of my journey. I knew I would find, friends along this journey. I knew that I would get the right education for the path that I really wanted to go on. So yeah, I'm just a really big believer that like every part of your journey really matters and it always adds up to like the bigger picture. So I don't know. I felt like I just was really sure about Kent State and yeah, I don't have any regrets so far. Maybe the student loans, but that's it.
Okay, that's good. Like no regrets. It is not do it no good to regret nothing. I totally agree on that. And like
Mhm.
you say, you are a very purpose driven person. I love that. And so, well, I know for me personally, back when I was in college, there were
Uh-huh.
times I was thinking, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right major? I mean, I know you're at the right school for you, but, like,
Yeah.
is this for me? Like, has there been any times where you knew, like, this was your journey, but there's, like, a moment in time where you're like, "Should I be here? Should I be a fashion person? Should I even have left home?" Or was it always not smooth sailing, but have you always been like, "No matter what, this is my path." There's been no hesitation throughout those years whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think I had moments of obstacles. I mean, especially in like to be honest, like I am not the math girly or like the science girly. So definitely in like moments like that where it's like, I'm having a tough time in statistics or I'm having a tough time with algebra. It's definitely like, okay, like what do I need to do in order to move past this? And I'm someone I truly believe that like you could learn anything with like dedication and like hard work. Like I think that if you put time and dedication towards something, you're going to make it through that obstacle even if it's really challenging. So even in moments that were really tough, like my math classes or my science classes, I would just make sure that like I was aware that this too is a part of the journey. Although it's really tough, like this too is a part of like your journey. And although you might not like it, although it might not be the prettiest or the girliest part of the journey, like you have to just make it through. I think that that really kept me grounded and it made me want to sit through hours of Khan Academy videos and it made me want to sit through YouTube videos or it made me want to sit through office hours with my professors, really putting in that extra time to really lock in because I knew that although it wasn't the cutest part of the journey, I knew that I had to still make it through in order to get what I wanted, which was my degree and not only my degree, but my career that I knew that I was meant to have.
I like that answer. A lot of people like to quit when it gets rough, especially at that age, like 20, like basically 18 to 22. Like a lot of people like to quit when things get rough just for a brief moment. And like
Mhm.
we all been there. But I like that you said it's all part of the journey. It'll be worth it. Yes, it may suck that you have to do this extra work for something
Yeah.
you care for, but you kept the purpose in the forefront of your mind, saying, you know what? I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get to that goal, even if it's just sacrificing some fun times, I'm sure, to get
Yeah.
to where you wanna go. So I do like that. So
Be relentless about your goals. Like, there's nobody's journey. I don't care what anyone says, where it was just sunshine and rainbows the whole journey through. Like, there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be like challenges. And, sometimes it is really hard to like navigate through them, but you just have to keep going. Even my journey to becoming a brand manager, it was not easy. I did not have a job when I graduated college. I didn't even have this internship fully secured yet. It took like a couple of months before I even got an unpaid internship here. And I was serving, like I was working as a server at like my local yacht club. It was not like easy. Like I really grinded. I really locked in a lot to get here.
oh, okay. Now, okay, let's fast forward that a little bit to after graduation.
Okay.
As many of people, well, I don't agree, but many people that graduate, especially today's age, do not have a job secure for their career when they first graduate. And to be honest, I know a couple of people, like for instance, my best friend, I think you know her too. She went to school for journalism.
Oh
For
yeah, I think I do know her.
Shakina,
Yeah, that's girl. I think we had a couple classes together.
'cause she says it's like the group chat now, guys, sorry. Yeah, but she said she had a couple classes with you, 'cause
Yeah.
I was asking her to prep me last night for this interview, and she said she recognized you. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, I think I had a couple classes with her. There's only a couple people of color at Kent class. Well, in journalism, there's only a couple Black people, so I'm always going with
Yeah, she did say Kent State is a PWI, guys, if
yeah.
you don't know. But yeah, so she was telling me that, and, like, it took her 4 years after graduating to finally get a job in journalism, and she did that. She went to Texas, now she's in Memphis.
Oh, amazing! Congrats to her.
Thank you, and yeah, I agree, congrats to her too, and by that it shows that you have to wait for the perfect timing because she was looking all throughout those years,
Hmm.
and she did not get opportunity whatsoever until after 4 years. Well, and you, on the other hand, even though it wasn't that long, you say it took you like a couple months until you got an unpaid internship.
Hmm.
So my question is, how can you tell? What would you tell someone on how to keep the faith when it comes to pursuing your goals, even though there's no end in sight? Like, what would you say?
Yeah. Well, I guess I want to start back with some background. Like, what I majored in, it is not an easy field. I would say, like, getting into journalism, getting into fashion, those are very, I would say, like, highly sought after, highly saturated careers. And a lot of people are going to tell you if something is highly saturated, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't major in that. Like, those degrees don't make any money. However, I'm going to tell you that I feel like if you really have that dog in you, or you really
Yeah.
have just faith in your talents, then you can do anything. Like, you can maneuver your way through a really tough field that people say. You can maneuver your way into the field. And it might take some time. For me, it took a couple months, and at the time that felt like a very long time. But for some people, it even takes years. But you really just have to have relentless faith about your goals, and just being relentless about what you really want to accomplish. And like, at times, sometimes you will have to, you might have to do something on the side, do some side projects while also working, you know, another 9 to 5 that has nothing to do with what you want to do. Or for me, it was working a serving job. So I think that your question. Sorry, your question was
No,
like,
it's
what do
okay.
you do?
My question was, what would you tell people that are trying to pursue their goals, but there's no
There's no
end
end in
in
sight.
sight?
Yes. Okay. So what I would tell that person is something that my mom told me, and she always just like told me that like you can just try to do it in whatever way that you can. If you really have this goal, if you really have this purpose of something that you want to do, there's so many ways. Well, for some people, there's ways where you can do it. Like for instance, like if you are a journalism major, you love to write, and like you don't need anybody to like pay you to write. Like although that would be nice, and that is what you want to do as a career, you can still do those skills without that, or you could like you could work at like a local somewhere like part time, or you could like try to ask somebody if they need help with like I don't know, with their blog, or maybe if someone needs help with podcast scripting. There's so many ways where you could like serve others while still getting like experience like with what you want to do, if that makes sense. Like for me, when I graduated my journalism degree, I of course I had my blog, and like my mom, she would just tell me like, like I wanted to really be like a fashion writer, you know? And my mom, she would tell me like, okay, if you want to be a fashion writer, like you can fashion write for your blog. Like you don't have to just wait for someone. Although it would be nice for you to get paid for what you love to do,
Mhm.
you don't have you can still do what you love to do in the meantime, in the interim. And like you can do that while also like working. Like I was doing that while working like my serving job. So although like I didn't have the career that I wanted, like I was kind of operating as if I already did. Like I was writing about my little outfits that I got from Old Navy or whatever. Like I was writing about my little Forever 21 outfits because like I knew that ultimately I wanted to work in fashion or beauty, and like what can I do in the meantime? I can write a review about this new beauty product that I got. I can find little, like back in the day, like sometimes people would have like these little magazines that they started that they were looking for interns. Like I was doing that. I remember I interned for this platform called Every Stylish Girl. It was by this woman named Nana Ajmine, and I was like a free intern for her, a free writing intern. So I was doing a free writing intern. I was also doing a free internship at the Lip Bar. I was making no money. I was
Dang it.
like
Free.
balancing both. Like I would be responding to comments on the Lip Bar while I was doing my serving job. Like I was doing a lot. And I'm not saying that you should be like happy with working for free, because everybody's work is valuable. Sometimes you do have to do the free stuff before before you can really make some money. And I personally believe that if something is really your purpose, you would do it for free. I'm not saying you should do it for free, but you would do it for free. And I would just do it. You don't even have you can do it. You can find ways to even do it for yourself, or you can find ways to maybe work on the side with a family friend or something. It doesn't work for every career field. Obviously, if you have the passion or the purpose in your life where you feel like you want to be a doctor, I'm not saying you should operate on anybody, or play doctor for your family members. But
Right.
there probably are things that you could do. You could maybe see if there's some type of volunteer opportunity at your local hospital, or if you
Well,
want to
that's a
be a
good.
veterinarian, you can see if there's a volunteer opportunity at your local veterinarian's office. I feel like there's sometimes so many different ways where you can still do that work before you get to the next step. Like I feel like when you're in the waiting period, you should still be finding ways where you could utilize your purpose as much as you can, because I think that is really what got me to where I am. Every single free opportunity that I did, I think that people would like look at when I finally got my internship at the Lip Bar. I had already done like 5 internships, and that is one reason that really set me apart to get the internship that I ultimately like got me my like full-time job, I think that what set me apart is that I had been doing all of these little things. Like I think that sometimes people are just like, they don't want to like do the little stuff, but sometimes that little stuff, like you doing so many different I did so many like little internships that I feel like, you know, added up to something, and it really showed that like, I'm passionate about this work, that like I'm passionate about storytelling, I'm passionate about marketing. And I think that my original boss that hired me, I think that she could see that like, I could be an asset to the team because I had already done these little things. Like nothing that you ever do is not worth it. Like I don't care what anyone says, like every little thing that you do, if you're doing with passion, if you're doing a purpose, it's eventually going to lead up to your bigger goal. You just have to make sure everything is in alignment. I don't do nothing that's not aligned, okay? Like,
I
so
I like that answer. Okay, just keep grinding. Do sometimes, gosh, you're gonna have to do free stuff. I don't like doing free stuff either,
I don't
but
like doing food, especially now, I don't like it. But when I Yeah, but when I got started and I feel like I was hungry and I didn't have a job and I just loved the passion for work, like I was doing stuff for free. But I mean, I also don't take my privilege for granted. I lived with my parents at the time. My dad was paying for uh, for things that I needed, like my necessities were covered. I definitely recognize now that that really is a privileged place to be in. But because of the sacrifices that my parents made when they were coming up, I think that it really allowed me to be able to take on free opportunities for my goals. So I think that that's also really good background to say, because I know that a lot of people aren't in that position, but I feel like if you are able to like pursue your passion without being paid, like you should do it. I don't think you should let anybody deter you for doing that. So yeah.
I agree. I totally agree with that. If you're in a position to do it, if it's for free, I'll just do it. I know there's people out there that can afford going without a paycheck, but then you just really gotta decide, like, what are you willing to sacrifice, and how can
Uh-huh.
you make this work for your dream, if it's worth it, or you need pivot dreams sometimes, and that's
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's a whole nother conversation about how privilege plays into it, how privilege really allows you to pursue your passions. But that's a whole nother story for another day. But if you are in the position, if you do have a support system, then you should do it because it can eventually lead you to where you want to go.
I totally agree with that. Okay, well let's switch gears to just a little bit more then. So your current position now, the brand manager, the lip bar. Actually, let's talk about that opportunity in general. So the lip bar, where did you find that at? Like, is it just like you Googled it and you saw it, or like did you have to like? Because I never heard of lip bar until I followed you, to be honest. So
Yeah, I honestly had never heard of Lip Art either. I think it really just goes back to I studied away when I was at Kent State. They had a study away program.
yeah.
So I studied away in New York, and I was really looking for an internship. I was looking for an internship literally any and everywhere. And I knew that I wanted to be in fashion and beauty. I was applying to like every single like beauty and fashion company in New York. And my mom, like, she was helping me. My mom has always just like been very supportive of my goals. That's also just a really big part of my journey and why I am the way that I am. Because my mom is just truly like my biggest encourager. And, you know, if her baby wants to have an internship in fashion and beauty, she's going to be looking up internships too. And she's going to be sending me stuff. So, I think honestly, I had applied to a lot of places. Some places I just got no's from. One place, I won't say the beauty brand, but they told me that I had the position, and they said they accidentally like mixed up the faiths. Like we both had the same name. We both had the same name, so they took my internship away. I was so upset. And
What?
I ended up
Expose them, I swear.
Yeah, I was so upset. I was devastated. I ended up just interning at somewhere that like Kensei connected me to. It was like this like fashion brand that did stuff for QVC, but during that search when my mom was helping me, my mom was like, "Oh, like it's this brand called like the Lip Bar," and like she's like, "I looked her up. Like she was on Shark Tank, and she's like hiring for like a social media person, and she wasn't hiring for a social media intern. She was hiring for a social media position. But my mom was like, "Yeah, I saw this job post. Like, this looks really interesting." And she was like, like, you should just like try and see, like, she was like, if not for like this summer, like maybe you should try to see like if you can get some sort of like internship with them for the school year, or like when you come back, or like when you graduate or something like that. And I remember just being like, okay, like whatever, mom, like I'll keep it in mind, because I was like, I'm looking for internship in New York, and you're showing me stuff that's like in Detroit.
Yeah, that's 2 different places. I would
Yeah,
be in the like
yeah. But I did follow them, and I did end up like, I followed their brand page, and I also followed a couple people that were working there that I felt like I was really interested in their job. So I remember I followed like their content marketing person at the time, and then I followed like their social media manager at the time, because that was one thing that I always did in school. I would always just be, I think it's just the journalist in me, but I would always be so interested and so fascinated by people's like career journey, like what you're doing now, and like asking people, or just like maybe like follow, like you said you followed me and you saw that I was a brand manager. Like I would be following everybody whose job I thought was cool. I would be following them on LinkedIn. I would just always be really interested to like, how did people get here? How did they get to their career field? But anyway, I ended up just following those two people. I didn't really like say that much, but sometimes they would like, I remember one time the social media manager, she posted that they had like some pop up and she got to work at their pop up. So I remember just like saying like, "Oh, look, that's so cool. Like, this is great," or something. I was just like a little follower that would like always comment. And then maybe like 8 months later, like since I like had followed the social media manager, one day she posted, I want to say it was like maybe like April of 2019. I was about to graduate in a month. I remember she posted that she was looking for an intern. And at that point, like I was in a really like down time. Like I felt like I was getting so many no's. Like I was trying to find a job like when I graduated, like everybody always, especially in like 2019, like everybody would say, I secured a job, like they gave me my job offer already. Like I have a job as soon as I graduate, and like to not have that was like a really, it was, I don't know, it was kind of like, it gave me like a very insecure feeling. Like, wow, like I've gotten this degree, and I've interned. I really don't have any like offers like from any previous internships. Like, I don't have a job. Like, I'm getting so many no's. I don't know what's going on. I felt like I've done like 2 or 3 internships. I don't know. It's just, I was in a really tough place. But yeah, she posted on her Instagram story that she was looking for an intern. And I just like swiped on it, like, hey, I'm interested. So she like hit me back, and then we ended up having a call. Um, and then we had a call, and she was like, "Oh, like she recognized, like, I think I had mentioned earlier, like I used to intern for this, like I was like a writing intern for this platform called Every Stylish Girl." And
yeah.
the social media manager at the time, she actually followed Every Stylish Girl. And she's like, "Oh, I love their page. Like I love all their posts that they do." So she's just like, "Oh, like that's really interesting that you intern there." So that's kind of like sparked her interest. And then she kind of like was like offering me the position. But then maybe a couple weeks later, she actually said that she wasn't in the position to like hire an intern right now. So like she just kind of like told me to like pause. And like I was like really upset, because at that point, like I was about to walk down, I was about to walk down with my cap and gown. I'm like, dang, I still don't have a job. I don't have an internship. I don't have anything. I don't really know what's next. But I eventually, maybe like a couple weeks later, I had already graduated, I had moved back home at the time, and I wasn't really doing very much of anything, to be honest. I think I was actually like at my ex-boyfriend like place at the time. He lived in Ohio. I had gone to Ohio because I was like, oh, I'm just so stressed out about like finding a job. My mom had told me to take a break. She's just like, you can just take a break, like a little break, like applying to all these jobs, like stressing you out, whatever. So I did take that break when I went to go visit my ex-boyfriend. And during that time where I was just spending time with him, I remember I opened up my email, and I got an email from the social media manager at the time. And she's like, "Hey, like, are you still interested in the internship at the Lip Bar?" And I replied back, like, "Yes." And she's like, "Oh, when can you start? Like, can you start next week?" I'm like, "Yes, like I can start next week." Because I wasn't doing anything. And that's really, like, how it started. Like, that's I was just like, she really needed somebody to, like, help her, like, reply to comments, reply to DMs, repost stories, and that was really what I did in my position at the Lip Bar. And I could go on and on and on about how my career has, like, progressed, but, from that social media manager giving me a chance, I met a lot of the team. The team was so small, it's a startup. So, like, startups are so small and tiny, and people are just doing a million different things. Like, one person wears a lot of hats. So I would, like, work in office with them. I think I would, like, go in office like one day a week. So I definitely, like, got close with a lot of the people there, especially like the CEO, Melissa Butler. She really gave me a chance, and she, like, hired me on. We, like, had introduced, like, a whole new product category where they needed, like, a little bit more support in the comments and stuff like that. So that's actually how I got my part-time position as, like, a social media assistant. And honestly, like, I don't know, I probably, if you would ask me like 5 years ago, I don't know if I would have, like, known that I would have been here or even gotten promoted. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't even think that I really, like, dreamt far enough to, like, dream about promotions and whatever. It was really just about, like, oh, like, I need a job. Like, I want a job in fashion and beauty, and, like, I need some type of job. So it's really just, like, really grown. Like, I was someone, I really only knew about, like, writing and storytelling, and working with the team. I've worked with so many incredible marketers. We've had, like, so many different marketers, like, kind of cycle through the Lip Bar, and then our CEO is, like, incredible at, like, marketing as well, and, like, storytelling. So I think just, like, working so closely with the team and for so long, I've really just, like, developed really an eye for marketing. Like, I don't really think that I was a true marketer when I first started. They definitely took a chance on me, but I think that over the years, I've really just grown, and it just is a testament to growth if you're dedicated to something every single day, really just dedicated to the cause. Because, like, to be honest, I was not the best marketer. Like, I didn't even know some words that they were talking about, and I'm like, "I don't know what you guys are talking about." And that just goes to show that, like, when you really are given a chance and you really are just someone who is just, like, determined, then you can do anything. You can become anything. Like, I definitely feel like I'm a marketer now. I did not go to business school. I don't have an MBA. I don't have a marketing degree. But I really just, like, every single day, like, I would just come to work excited, and I would come to work, ready to grow and ready to learn. Even it wasn't easy. Like, there was really difficult times. There was times I thought it was horrible at my job, and I kind of just, like, stayed, like, dedicated, and I worked through the mud, and I came out on top. And I remember the first time that I got promoted. I've gotten promoted twice, but the first time I got promoted, I felt like such an accomplishment because, like, it was just a testament to my growth and just, like, staying dedicated to something, staying patient, staying kind will definitely, like, pay off. And, I started off as, like, a social media intern. I worked my way up to a social media assistant, and now I'm the brand manager, which is a really amazing career. And you can go and do so many things, and you could really grow into, like, a marketing manager and becoming a marketing director one day. So I think that it really just I don't know, like, just my journey there, it really is special. I know a lot of people job hop and everything, which that is absolutely a way to grow in your career as well. But, you know, there's also sometimes opportunities in staying in one place and, really getting to know the team, really just jumping in on different projects, and, um, just being willing to work. I think that you can definitely have success in that as well. Because definitely my career journey has really progressed just because I think just every single day I just show up and I just try to be, like, at least 1% better.
I totally agree. We cannot be stagnant. We all have to continue to get better, and no matter what we do, I totally
Mhm.
agree with that. Okay,
Yeah, you always have to grow. You cannot be afraid. And growing is hard. Growing is
it
tough. I think we
is.
don't
It
talk
is.
about that enough. Like, growing and cutting out old habits that you used to do is really challenging. Cutting out old mindsets that you used to have is really challenging. Like, I don't know, but, like, growth is, like, really uncomfortable, and it's not really fun, but it definitely has, like, advantages to the end for sure, at the end, or just in the middle of your journey or whatever.
Advantages, yeah. I mean, it will be in the end, but yeah, in the middle too. Okay, yeah, because
Yeah.
like you said, you did stuff for free. It paid off for free, part-time, full-time. You had to wait the journey, and then now you're here, and I can already tell right now it's gonna continue.
Yeah, and it's still just the beginning. I always just tell myself, "It's just the beginning." Like, I don't know, I like to be, like, optimistic, like, I don't know, like, sometimes I just tell myself, like, "Wow, like, it's really just the beginning," you know? Um, and yeah, I never, like, thought that I would, like, get here, like, to be honest, I thought I was gonna be a starving artist, like,
Yeah.
especially when I was majoring in and stuff like that, like, I thought it was, not I'd have no money. I thought I was gonna have to marry rich. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, still marry rich, but yeah, okay. Take it back a little bit. I remember you saying when you work with small team, you wear many hats, and also, like you said before, growing causes discomfort, and so life is uncomfortable in general. And with someone wearing many hats, even if it's a job they love, I can imagine sometimes if you can get a little stressed out. My any question will be is what do you do to keep yourself grounded? I know you exercise, but like what's like some self-care wellness habits you do to keep yourself grounded so you can be better to get that 1% better the next day.
Well, yeah, working at a startup and working in marketing, period, you can definitely fall into burnout pretty easily. We work on like a lot of different campaigns and we work with, a lot of different influencers. And sometimes we have, delays with our campaigns, we have obstacles there. So there definitely can be times where you're really stressed and burnt out and you are working on a lot. And yeah, you definitely have to make sure that you have something outside of work that you can like lean on. And so now I'm really like into wellness for sure. But in the past, I've been like really into like reading. Like if you just like read like a fictional book after work, and you just like fall deep into that story, that's really helpful. Working out is really, really helpful as well. Like I was never a workout girly at all. I really didn't. I was in the marching band when I was in
Mm.
school. I was never like an athlete. I wasn't on the volleyball team. I didn't do cheer. So like working out really wasn't ingrained in me from the youth, I guess. So it just really wasn't something that I was like used to doing. And I hate to be like that person, but like it really does like create like a game changer for like your mental health.
It does.
Even like working out like before you log on to work, like it's really nice to be able to like do something for you. You showed up for you before you showed up for your boss, and you showed up for you before you showed up for the CEO of the company. You showed up for you before you showed up for your direct reports. I really like to do like workout classes, and that's really also given me like a sense of community in the area that I live in, and just being able to like see the same girls and like saying good morning to them and just good workout. I think that it's really just like helped my mental health overall. And yeah, I never really thought that it would, but it definitely does. I definitely like know that there were some points in my life where I didn't really work out. I would just kind of roll out of bed, and like it was a pandemic, and I would just roll out of bed and like start working. I felt like also, like, during the pandemic, I felt sometimes, you didn't wanna turn work off, like, even though it's like, "Okay, like, work is done," but, like, I'm also, like, stuck in the house. So, like, let me just like, log back on to work, and that really doesn't create a really healthy environment for yourself. It really, like, makes it seem like all you do is, like, work, and it really makes it seem like, all you have to offer is work, and I've really just, like, learned that, you know, people aren't their jobs. Like, I'm not my job. I feel like my job is, like, the least interesting thing about me. Maybe people might beg to differ, but I really try not to have my job be my everything. It's definitely like a passion, it's a purpose. I'm very lucky to have a job that I like. I'm very lucky to have a job that people think it's a cool job or whatever. But not my job. I'm so much more than that. And you really have to like disconnect from your job title and just know that you are a real person. Exercising really helps with that. I think like having hobbies really helps with that, really building community and being fellowshipping with other people, other women really helps with that. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do. For me, it's really been a journey. I think that now I'm really getting into a flow and I feel like I have a really solid community around me and I feel like I have a really good wellness routine, but it was not like that. I used to be honest, like I used to be one of those girls like with a boyfriend that felt like they had no friends. Like they felt like their boyfriend was their only friend. And I hated that. Like, I hated feeling like, all I do is work and my boyfriend's my only friend. That was not a happy life. And I feel like now I have such a more well-rounded view, and I have such a more positive outlook on my life.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. I try to work out sometimes before work, but I have a schedule different every single day, so it's hard. But when I
Yeah,
did do it, I could totally agree with you right there. It is a
yeah.
game
And working
changer.
out after work is good too. I'm so
See, but
tired.
then
I
you,
get so tired.
I don't know. I'm tired. I don't know about you. I'm tired after work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I do agree. Working out or just doing something for you, even just like journaling or reading a book, totally helps with that mindset of feeling like all you do is work and never have fun. And also building community too is really helpful. I'm still trying to figure that out myself here. And I've been in this town for 4 years after college. I still have a hard time doing that. So
Mhm.
I totally agree. Finding community also helps you relieve stress and being grounded when times get tough. So before we wrap up, I forgot to do this at the beginning of the interview, but we're gonna play hot seat. I guess just to like
Okay.
like no. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you
This
know.
reminds me of Carisha Please. I'm
Really?
messy.
Okay.
I'm actually messy.
You're
So I love
messy?
like Carisha Please, and she's always like, "Okay, like you ready for the smoke?" So that's
No. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna ask like messy question.
okay. That's good. Okay,
Let's see.
that's good. But she does. She does. So that's what this reminds me of.
Okay, so um okay, my first question is, do you prefer Pilates or the gym?
Pilates. When I go
Okay.
to the gym, I don't do very much. I go on the treadmill and the stairmaster. That's it. And I leave.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's more what people do. Okay. Do you prefer TikTok or Instagram?
It's hard. I think TikTok lately.
Okay, even with the band. Okay. Short form or long form content?
Short form.
Okay. Are you a nighttime person or a daytime person?
I think I'm a daytime person.
Okay.
I get tired so fast.
Okay. Since you're a fashion girly, do you like monochromatic looks or do you like mixing colors together?
I like mixing colors together.
Okay. For makeup, do you usually do natural every day or do you like to do full glam whenever you can?
Natural every day.
Okay. Favorite hair, straight or protective hairstyle?
Probably straight, but protective style in the summer.
Okay. Yeah, I like straight hair too. Final question. Who is the brand that took your internship away?
Milk makeup.
Milk Makeup?
Yeah, we don't. Me and my mom.
My God. I mean, I don't wear makeup like that, but I'm okay. Okay, so we cannot support Milk
Yeah,
Makeup no more. I'm
they
sorry.
probably don't remember, but it was very tragic because I was very excited about. I always wanted to do fashion and beauty, and I was just like, I remember I think I tweeted about it. I wrote on Twitter like, "Oh, I got an internship at Milk Makeup." I tweeted about it, and like people were telling me congrats. I'm just embarrassed. I'm like,
Milk
I'm like,
Makeup.
what? And I just couldn't even believe that. I remember I read the email like multiple times, like, you got the fates mixed up. Like, what? They're talking about it's another faith. Okay, well then give both internships to
No,
faith.
but it's not like you have last names too. Like, how you gonna mix up the last name too?
I don't know. It was just very devastating. I still they're my op. I'm beefing with them.
Oh my, okay, yeah, we're not supporting Milk. We're going on at least a 6 month ban for Milk Makeup whenever this
Yeah.
episode comes out.
I've never bought from them either. Like they're not
Oh,
getting any of my coin.
okay. Well, I never bought from either, so I stand with you.
Thank you.
Okay. But my God, okay, thank you for being a part of this interview with me, especially since you don't know who I am really.
Well,
But
yeah, yeah, I appreciate it.
I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope the audience. Oh, I know the audience is gonna get something well from this interview. And thank you for being patient with me, guys, because as you know, I'm new to doing this. So thank you for just being patient with me, Fabe.
Yeah,
And
you did a good job.
thank you for saying that. I just hope I get better as time goes on. But yeah, so I think that's it for the interview,
Okay,
guys.
awesome.
But yeah, babe, I hope you have a good rest of your day. And with that being said, I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And congrats on the podcast relaunch. I hope everything goes really well. And thank you just so much for inviting me. This is my first podcast. I've never been on podcast. So
Yes.
I just feel really honored that you wanted me to be your guest. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Okay, guys. So that was the end of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to Combos with Desiree. I hope you had a good time listening, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.